Arsenal won today against Bournemouth 3-2, and you can't take it off the fact that Arsenal won this game, and now Arsenal are currently sitting about 7 points ahead of second place. I think 7 points ahead of Man City and Aston Villa and all those kind of stuff, right? And Arsenal won today, but to be honest, right, how do I want to put it? I know nobody wants to question Arsenal with the fact that they are in the top of the table, but how do I put it? To be honest, right, if I was an Arsenal fan, you see the second half of the season, I will be a bit worried, right? I'm going to be worried because I believe that, listen, no hate against Arsenal. And I believe that Arsenal are lucky this season going to win the Premier League and the Champions League. For me, Arsenal are the Champions League favorites. When you have this level of solid defense, right, with Gabriel and Saliba, you can really get into Arsenal's defense. And Arsenal is a team that can hurt you from anywhere, hurt you counter attack, hurt you slow tempo, and also hurt you from set pieces. Arsenal is a very complete team. And then you go to their midfield. Their midfield is very, very good, right, in terms of the quality. When you have Declan Rice, who is very good as a box to box, can also control the game. Then you have Zubimendi in the midfield, right? But to be honest, if I am an Arsenal fan, I'm a bit worried because Arsenal lately, if you've been watching them, have been very, very inconsistent with their performances. And the way it's looking, if they continue like this, they might drop points, right? Their recent game against Brighton was absolutely not good enough. Brighton could have come back, and Arsenal were winning that game like what, 2-0. Brighton were close to coming back. Arsenal were not looking good in that match. The same thing now against Arsenal versus Bournemouth. If you also go back and look at their performance against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup, they were very, very, very fortunate to get that win, right? They entered penalties and all those kinds of stuff. So what I'm saying in essence is this: Arsenal have a lot to improve, right? For me, and I'm going to be critical of Victor Gyökeres, because Victor Gyökeres came to Arsenal for about what, 70 million, and this guy has not performed up to expectations lately. He hasn't been very good lately. I think at this point, Victor Gyökeres needs competition, right? Because I don't think Victor Gyökeres is a bad player. We saw what this guy did in Sporting. We saw how incredible he was. We saw how much of a potent goal scorer he was. But it's very much clear that, his form is dipping. And with Gabriel Jesus coming back from injury, who is actually playing well, then you still have Mikel Merino, who is good as a striker. I think the best thing is to create competition for Gyökeres, and he will start playing well. Because looking at it, Gyökeres has not been performing too well, and Arsenal, is affecting Arsenal's counter attack. So I believe that Arsenal have a few things to change. Otherwise, if they don't change it, they might end up bottling the league. They may not win the Champions League. But like I've said, I still think maybe Arsenal can bounce back from some of these things. Arsenal will bounce back. They are going to win the Premier League this season, and they are most likely going to win the Champions League. I've said it, that if there's a team that I'm backing to win the Champions League, it's lucky going to be Arsenal, right? When you have this, at the end of the day, defense is what wins you titles. And Arsenal have the goals, and they also have the defense. So I believe that Arsenal, but they need to stay united. They need to stay compact. They need to change some things.